Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Perkins, a board certified OBGYN, and I'm so excited to talk to you today about can PCOS go away after pregnancy? All right, so in this video, we'll be talking about PCOS and what it is very briefly. We'll dive into how our bodies react to pregnancy when we have PCOS. We'll talk about managing PCOS, and I'll give you a few tips for how to manage future pregnancies if you have PCOS. So come on in, let's dive into this conversation today. So PCOS is quite common. In fact, it affects about 1 in 10 females in their reproductive years. This means that if you have 10 friends, at least one may have PCOS. And really, I think that as a physician who deals with PCOS on a regular basis, this is like a mainstay of what I do. PCOS affects way more people than is accounted for. And so with that, we have growing obesity rates, we have growing problems in the US especially, that really leads us predispositioned really for PCOS. And so we're going to talk about that today and how to get rid of it, especially after pregnancy. PCOS is so hormonal that when we factor in pregnancy as well, we're talking about a lot of hormones going crazy for a long period of time. But I'm here to encourage you and let you know that it is absolutely possible to have PCOS completely be treated and completely go away even after pregnancy. But there are a few things that we want to consider first. Some people in pregnancy may find that their hormones, especially those linked with PCOS, may actually stabilize a little bit. Most people may find that their hormones tend to wreak havoc in their lives way more than they ever experienced before. And so some of the things that I would say that clinically I've noticed, but research has also shown, is that some people with PCOS in pregnancy may have worsened acne, for instance, especially in the first trimester and the second, wherein the pregnancy is establishing itself. You may notice much more acne on the face, on your chest, on your back, on your arms, as well as a lot more hair growth. Hair growth in general happens for the typical average female, but with PCOS, you may notice much more on your arms. For instance, I've had patients say, "Hey doc, I'm like a bear." And that's okay. It is a temporary state. But in those with PCOS, we find this to be more of a prominent symptom. We also know that those with PCOS may also have an increase in their weight gain as well. While there are recommendations for how much weight to gain in pregnancy, for the average person, it's important that we're not obsessed with looking at the scale and the numbers that we're getting. We want you to eat a balanced diet. We want you to keep moving. We want you to do these things to help to gain appropriate weight, but don't go crazy about it. And at the same time, don't go overboard. With those with PCOS, it may be a little bit more challenging because with PCOS, 70% of people may have an underlying carbohydrate or glucose sugar problem, which means that you are more prone to gaining weight very, very, very easily. You can look at a snack and gain weight with PCOS. Just kidding. But it becomes so much harder for you when you have PCOS to lose weight and to manage your weight. And so when we tie in pregnancy with this, it becomes even more of a challenge. Excessive weight gain may absolutely happen. Now, while all of these things are happening in pregnancy, I will encourage you that you can have a normal pregnancy, you can have normal weight gain, you can have a perfectly normal delivery, and you can have a wonderful postpartum recovery as well. But it's important to be mindful of the changes so that you reduce going overboard, but that you can walk through the process and the journey on the back end very safely and get rid of PCOS. A study published in the Journal of Fertility and Sterility found that 60 to 70% of women with PCOS continue to experience symptoms after pregnancy. That is to say that a majority of people will still have symptoms. But for the 30% of those who don't, as their bodies normalize with the hormonal changes of pregnancy and postpartum, they institute practices that will help their body clear or become more balanced when it comes to PCOS. And some of those include doing the following. Breastfeeding can influence your hormones, and in the postpartum state can really be beneficial for those who may experience having a higher metabolism because of breastfeeding. Breastfeeding in general may burn an additional 500 to 700 calories per day. When you add these up over time, this really can ramp up your metabolism, causing you to burn and use up more glucose and sugars from your system, and allowing you to lose that weight postpartum, as well as become more hormonally balanced over time. Now, breastfeeding can be a challenge. It is like a full-time job, and if you have another full-time job, this just can compound over time. And so it may be challenging to do so. In general, do your best, and if you cannot breastfeed, that's okay as well. We welcome all of these states here, and breastfeeding is one way to help to jumpstart your system, but there are other ways as well. Making lifestyle changes are very important to help your hormones to balance themselves. Balancing your hormones starts with eating well. It starts with balancing your meals. And by balancing your meals, it might sound like, cliche. Like we talk about this all the time. But what it means is that when you're literally looking at your plate and every single meal that you're eating, it's important to incorporate all the macronutrients. Macronutrients are proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Somehow, over the last few years especially, carbohydrates have really taken the hit. Most people may think that when you have PCOS that you should completely rid yourself of carbohydrates, and that is not the case. In fact, people with PCOS absolutely need carbohydrates. The carbohydrates that are needed are the complex carbohydrates. These are the ones that incorporate a lot of grains. And so when we think of brown rice, when we think of oatmeal, when we think of quinoa, we're thinking about carbohydrates that have a lot of grains incorporated in them. And with that, paired with protein and healthy fats, you are on your way to helping to balance your hormones and become more stabilized with PCOS just by ingesting and bringing in the foods that are best for your hormones to become balanced. Now, some people postpartum may also want to consider using medications like metformin to help to regulate the balancing of the carbohydrates and the insulins within your system, helping you to clear of this hormonal imbalance. If you're challenged with PCOS and you're planning for future pregnancies and you're hoping for a state of being much more balanced than you currently are, while sticking with the tips that I mentioned earlier is one step, it's also important that you work with your provider and you monitor your symptoms as you go along the way. This will help you with a future pregnancy, help you to be able to feel better, to be energized, to get to the place where you are maintaining your weight and at the weight that you desire, but that you're living and thriving, which is so important for you as a female and as a human being. Now, if you need a little bit of assistance with this journey or you'd like to jumpstart this process, I have a 7-day challenge which helps you to get on that journey to becoming more and more hormonally balanced. You can find a link to that in the description right below this video. But in addition to that, I have a free gift for you today. If you're concerned about your lifestyle and you'd like to know, am I doing anything incorrectly that could be harming my hormones? Go ahead and take my free quiz below. This quiz will help you to organize your lifestyle so that you can know exactly what you need to do to target becoming more hormonally balanced. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm Dr. Perkins, a board certified OBGYN, and I hope you've learned a little bit more about PCOS and how to get rid of it after pregnancy. Thank you.